Okay, and we are live. Welcome to a new episode of All Things Xbox Podcast. Now, Logan should be here any second. I think we have some technical difficulties. Yep, technical difficulties. He'll be here in a second. Yeah, so we weren't here last week. I was feeling pretty ill. It was Logan's birthday, and it was Thanksgiving around the corner. And considering 90% of my viewers are from the US, kind of made sense to give a week. So yeah, it's been a busy week in the gaming space. Lots of gaming news, lots of leaks. Just a really good week for gaming news and just gaming all around. Now, since the last show, Silent Hill 2 Remake got shadow dropped. Completely out of nowhere. It happened at like 1 a.m. UK time without any warning whatsoever. And yeah, I've been playing that. I'll be getting to that in a minute. But man, what a strange way to release a game. Konami stealth dropping, shadow dropping a Silent Hill 2 remake on Xbox without any warning at 1 a.m. It's bizarre. It was very bizarre the way they announced it. But hey, I've been playing it. I'm very happy to talk about it because let me tell you, that game does not disappoint at all. It's pretty phenomenal. While Logan gets his mic sorted, if he's listening right now, all you have to do is plug it in, plug it out, it'll work. Let's see where we're at. I'm just messaging Logan quick. Okay, here we go. He'll join when his mic picks up. Yeah, that's a problem about doing podcasts. Sometimes your mic can just stop working. I have a mic right now, works perfectly fine, and it can just stop working sometimes. In fact, it has a mute button on it that for some reason turns it off. Thankfully, I have a new one right next to me, which will be ready for the next show. Anyway, you know what? I'll just start talking about the Silent Hill 2 remake because for people that have been listening for a long time or watching for a long time, maybe you followed me on social media for a long time, you'll know that I am what people refer to as a scaredy cat. Horror games get to me. Alien Isolation is one of my favourite games of all time, but that was 33 and a half hours of me absolutely terrified. Literally terrified. In that game, you hide in lockers, underneath tables and whatnot. I spent a lot of that time slow crawling my way past that alien. And I'm happy I finished it. Again, it's one of my favourite games of all time, but horror's not easy on me for some reason. I can hit a moving target in a first-person shooter half a mile away perfectly fine. But you put me in a scary game, it is awful. But I like horror games at the same time, so I could be very picky with horror games. I loved Alan Wake. I loved Alan Wake 2. Resident Evil games, I prefer the older ones. And with Silent Hill, I played Silent Hill 2 20 years ago, and I don't actually remember much about it. So, like, last time I played it, I think it was on a PlayStation 2, and again, I remember some things about cutscenes, certain lines of dialogue, the memes, but that's it. And I'm happy to report Silent Hill 2 Remake is actually phenomenal. I'm not even kidding. It might actually be one of the best games ever made. And that's a high pedestal to put a game on, It's a remake of a game that came out 20 years ago, a beloved game that some people say that it didn't even need a remake. But for me, it's incredible. We live in an age where a lot of AAA games launch kind of broken, in a bad state, and the term AAA slop is a thing that exists for a reason. But this is the exact opposite of that. The performance, absolute rock solid. I'm playing it on performance mode. The visuals are incredible. The gameplay is so good. It's simplistic, but you don't really need a lot in a horror game. And so the original came out in 2001. So like for me to give this game, and it's a horror game, like such high praise. It's good. It's really good. I'd say it's even good for newcomers to horror. It's got a bunch of different difficulty modes. There's one for combat and one for puzzles. And I think, people that aren't really into horror games could pick this up and just love it. And yeah, like this is one of the best games of the year. I know I've talked about Final Fantasy 16 non-stop since the second it came to Xbox. I talked about that maybe too much. But Silent Hill 2 Remake, it is incredible. And if we're going to get something like that for the first game by Bloober Team, we are in for a treat. And by the way, the way it launched, I think it was £24. It launched 50% off, similar ways Death Stranding back in November last year. And I mean, the value there is just incredible. It's one of those horror games that kind of encourages multiple playthroughs because of the different endings. There's like 7 different endings, if I remember correctly. Some of which will make you laugh, some of which will make you kind of freak out a little bit. But man, I'm like 10 hours into this game, and I can say it's maybe one of the best games I've ever played. There's nothing really I can pick fault with it. Me being scared about certain things in the game, is that the game's fault? Not really. It's the fact that I'm a scaredy cat. Like, I had to play Alan Wake with the lights, like, full brightness, right? That's how I got through it. But in this, it's good. We have the first super chat of the day by Doom. Let me see if I can highlight this. This is all over the place today. I believe it's Nick the Horror Game Fan underneath a different name. If I'm wrong, please correct me. Oh, there it is. Doom Fan. Doom Fan 35609. Thank you very much for the 499. He says, they're remaking Silent Hill 1. I hope that they eventually remake Silent Hill 3. I never played Silent Hill 3. I played 1, 2, and I believe 4. And I think Silent Hill, like, look, they clearly know how to make a good game. They clearly know how to make a good remake. Yeah, okay, it's next. Sometimes I see the same profile picture and a different name, I'm just thrown off. But thanks for the $4.99, Nick. I think they will remake 3. Why not? Remake 4. Hell, they can go the whole route. They can do Homecoming, Downpour, a whole new game. I haven't touched Silent Hill F yet, which is, it's a new game. And by the way, and this is my own fault, I'm putting myself through this pain. Have I finished it yet? No, I haven't finished it yet, but I'm about 10 hours in, and I've just gotten to the prison. Right? The hospital was terrifying. And for people that follow me on Twitter, you'll know that I decided to say, I don't think it gets any worse than this. Oh, no, I was wrong. So wrong. And it's just getting better and better, but I love it. It's a great game. And, even like the boss fights, right? The boss fights seem fair. I feel like a lot of horror games just kind of shoehorn in difficulty and just like lopsided mechanics which make you lose. But in this, I'm thinking it's fair. It's reminding me of Elden Ring. If I lost, I'm halfway. Oh, great. Okay. Well, I'm loving it, so I'm sure I'll enjoy the second half. But do you know what's funny? I was thinking when I was in the hospital, you know what? I'm gonna actually get the under 10 hours achievement. That's clearly not the case now. Maybe in a future playthrough. But man, like it's just so good. So good. And I think that, like I was saying earlier, I think if people have never played a horror game before, or even a Silent Hill game, you can jump into this. It's perfect. I know it sounds like I'm overly glazing this game. Let's face it, I am. But when it comes to Silent Hill, Silent Hill hasn't really been around for a long time. The last Silent Hill thing that there was before F was, if I remember correctly, that was PT, and that was a demo. And I think before that it was Downpour, which might have been 2011. But it's been a long time since Silent Hill's been a thing. And, if I was Konami, I'd get Bloober Team to make the whole lot of them, remake them, make new ones, just do what you do best. Make psychological horror. And, they are a great studio. They clearly know what they're doing. They are a horror studio. So, Yeah, brilliant game, brilliant price. The way they launched it, I get it. Maybe there was some sort of deal in place, but that's not my problem. All I'll say is that game for £24, I think it was £24. That is an absolute steal. And you know, basically the same situation as Death Stranding. Death Stranding launched at £17 in the UK, 50% off day one. And as you can see right now, I clearly like Death Stranding. That game's phenomenal. And that game's been memed for 5 years about carrying boxes because it's a FedEx dude simulator. And you know what? I love that game. But yeah, I think it's cool that, more of these games are going to different platforms. I'd be shocked if it doesn't make its way to the Switch too soon, as well as Death Stranding. I'm surprised that isn't on Switch 2 already, considering how well optimized it is. And let's talk about optimization for a minute. So when a game comes out and you hear that it has a 30 frames per second mode, I'm going to get hate for this, but I don't care. If it has a 30 frames per second mode and it looks good, I just play it on that. I'm perfectly fine with that. I prefer 60, don't get me wrong. But if a game looks really good, and it looks so much better at 60, at 30, I'll play in 30. However, Silent Hill 2 Remake, it looks amazing in performance mode, which I wasn't expecting. I was thinking, maybe this Konami game, it's not going to look that good. No, it looks phenomenal. There's ray tracing, or at least, screen space reflections going on, but it's possibly one of the best looking games ever made. I know it's a lot of glazing for a remake of a 2001 horror game, but trust me when I say, it's just great. I talk about, all this AAA slop all the time and how, again, games come out, they need patching day one, there's issues. This game's been flawless. Absolutely flawless day one. But yeah, and I've gone back between quality mode and performance mode. The resolution difference isn't actually that noticeable. It's sharp on performance, and it's just slightly sharper on, quality mode. But man, what a good playing game. In the gameplay, simple, straight to the point, and that's all it needs. You have a melee attack, which you swing different ways, kind of like a combo type thing. Basically, press the button 3 times, you swing a bunch of different times. There are ranged weapons in the game. And oh, by the way, I was saying this before. How have I made the game more difficult for myself? Well, it turns out there's an achievement if you go through the entire game without using ranged weapons. So being me, I decided to go through with my first playthrough in the remake with with the pipe only, or it was the board with the nails in it before. I might cave in and just use my ammo because that hospital was terrifying. There's enemies that, by the way, and this is a really cool mechanic, which I don't think enough horror games do. There's this enemy that will slide underneath cars and you just different obstacles. You don't see that in other horror games. It seems like such a no-brainer for a horror game to have that type of thing in it, but no other game really does it. At least that I can remember. Not in Alan Wake, nothing like that. I think even in Alien Isolation towards the end, you still don't see stuff like that. But in this game, when I first saw one of those sliding things that puked the acid, I almost jumped out of my seat. I was like, I've never seen this in a game before. But yeah, that's enough glazing for Silent Hill for now. Who knows? Maybe I'll talk about it a bit later. But yeah, what can I say? For that price so far, I have to say, if it's still on sale, which it might be, I'd say you have to get it. I highly recommend it. Everyone go out and support that game because it does everything right. It doesn't break the bank. It's not inexpensive. Even if it was full price, what it was now, it's still worth it. And I don't say that lightly. It's a damn good game. And Konami, I want to say Konami's back. Capcom had a few rough years back in the early Xbox One, PlayStation 4 generation. And they turned it around with Resident Evil 7 and Monster Hunter World. And I feel like this is kind of happening with Konami. And don't get me wrong, Capcom, their whole business is basically video games. At least most of it. With Konami, most of their money is in gyms, right? Gyms and vitamin water. So, like, video games is such a small part of their business, which I never actually thought they would get back into properly. Playing this game, the Silent Hill F that they released a few months ago, there's the Metal Gear game, there's the collections they're coming out with. I think if you're a fan of their IP, they are back. They are definitely back. And who knows what we'll see next. There are rumours that we are going to see the Silent Hill 1 remake at the Game Awards, which we'll talk about in a bit. But, man, as a fan of not just, like, Silent Hill and horror, just Konami in general, like, they were one of the publishers that if you saw their game on a shelf when you were younger, you knew it was going to be good. I'm one of the people that absolutely love Castlevania Lords of Shadow. That game's phenomenal. I don't care what anyone says. But yeah, great time to be a fan. What can I say? Yeah, back to the whole achievement thing for the melee weapon. I was just looking at it and thinking, I've already spent over 8 hours in this game using a melee weapon. Like, shouldn't I just use my bullets now, or should I just suffer the rest of it? But if I'm only halfway through the game and I've just left the hospital, then I'm in the prison now, shall I say? Yeah, maybe it's time to start using some ammo. What can I say? But hey, damn good game. Now, another game I've been playing, and we will get into the news shortly while Logan's trying to fix his mic. I have been playing another game. I got a review code for Echoes of the End Enhanced Edition, and I think a lot of people will like this game if I can try and get the gameplay to come up. Give me
Hey,
one
what
second.
game is it, Jamie? Sorry, finally got my mic to actually work with Discord. So.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It happens, man. Like, look, I have a new mic right here. It's an Elgato mic. I'm going to start using it from next week. That thing works fully. I currently use a Blue Yeti. If I press the mute button, it doesn't mute the microphone. It turns it off. Right? I'm not an expert in circuitry, but I'm pretty sure that shouldn't happen. So, like, these errors do happen. But anyway, Logan, how you been, and what have you been playing?
Oh, I've been doing pretty good. Life's going great. It's perfect fall weather over here. It's not too cold, but just right. Hot drinks. Just had my birthday and Thanksgiving, and sports is going good. Lots of great gaming news. So yeah, life over here is swimmingly. As far as what I've been playing, it was funny is it's not technically, well, I guess there might be a video game version of it, but have you ever played Magic the Gathering?
The card game.
Yeah.
Um, I think I may have done once after a lot of drinks. So we'll just say no.
Yeah, so over the holiday, that's a game I've never touched with a 10-foot pole at all. I've had no interest in it whatsoever. I've done D&D occasionally if we had family over and they particularly want to. My nephew is like obsessed with Dungeons and Dragons and Magic the Gathering. And so he introduced me to both of those, and so like this Thanksgiving, it's like the family game. They're like, "Hey, let's try this." I'm like, I have no idea what I'm getting into, but okay, sure, why not? And so I jumped in. And I'm like, this is actually pretty fun. I I see a lot of RPG elements and like, okay, yeah, okay, I see where this is going, kind of stuff. And I think there are digital versions of this game as well.
Yep.
But I played that a bunch over the holiday. Played Power Wash Sim 2, of course. I'm on the final mission right now. And I started playing this game that they shadow dropped at the Xbox showcase, Total Chaos.
Oh, nice.
And boy, let me tell you, that game is a mind trip. It is freaky as heck. You gotta really be smart with crafting and survival stuff. And it's got this unsettling eeriness to it that, I don't know, I'm not too far in, but I'm really, really enjoying it, what I've played so far. And boy, let me tell you, if you don't like spiders, you're gonna hate this game because there's a section where they're not spiders, but you remember in Toy Story that creepy little head thing
Oh yeah.
that Sid had? Yeah, like imagine those but grimy and slimy and like pink. And there's like a bunch of those critters that you fall into a nest of, and boy, that was not a fun time. But that's what I've been playing. How about you, man?
Well, outside of
Hmm.
Silent Hill 2, I've been playing this game called Echoes of the End Enhanced Edition. Got a review code from Deep Silver. Thank you very much. And it's made by Sorry, by the way, it's like a Icelandic studio, I believe, and they're
Oh, that
called
sounds cool.
Myker Games. And basically, for people that are watching, that it's a God of War style third-person action adventure game where you play as this woman called Raya, and it's a typical tale of saving the world type thing. But you have melee combat and magic, and it is really good. It came out earlier this year. It came out during a busy time around when Doom came out and Expedition 33. So
Oh yeah, bad time.
yeah,
Yeah.
so like not the best time for a lot of games to come out, as we've seen other developers talk about. But the enhanced edition came out last week. They've added a bunch of outfits. There's some DLC stuff, bug fixes, quality of life improvements, that type of stuff. But it is really good. It's got some light puzzle design where you have to use force style magic to move crates to get into higher locations. You get collectibles such as different outfits and currency throughout the world to unlock those outfits. But it's just a really cool, different take on kind of putting mystical elements into Norse mythology and Vikings. And it's really good. It's around about a 15 to 20 hour action adventure game. And I think if people have been looking for a new third person action adventure game, this should be it. Because it has, third person melee combat with magic as well. And I've seen that actually people online refer to this as a Souls like. And I get it. Some people are feeling Souls fatigue. This is not a Souls like in any capacity. It is basically a God of War style game. Actually, it's kind of like a cross between Jedi Fallen Order and God of War. It's a bunch of fun. You fight enemies such as ogres, giant spiders, scorpions, that type of thing. But for a studio's first game, to have something like this, AAA big budget action adventure style game, I'm really impressed. I really am. Yeah, it came out the 30th of October, the enhanced edition, so it wasn't last week, but man, it is so good. As I was saying earlier in the show, we talk about AAA slop all the time. This is basically a AA game with AAA quality. So think Expedition 33, how that's a AA game, but you have all the we'll call it goodness of a AAA game. The soundtrack is amazing. You get that full-on Viking vibe, Norse mythology, that type of thing. And like when it comes to puzzles in games, puzzles kind of throw some people off. I've noticed. This is very simple, like puzzle mechanics. I'd actually put them up there with like basically Jedi Fallen Order's puzzles. Very simple, straight to the point. You figure them out within a couple of seconds, and you get a little bit of dopamine mush from it because you sorted out a puzzle. But yeah, it's called Echoes of the End, third-person single-player action adventure game. Highly recommend it. Bunch of fun, and I can't check the price on it right now, but it's a super fun game, and I'll obviously talk more about it next week. Now, I have been playing Arc Raiders, but let's be honest, nobody cares about multiplayer. Especially, I know a lot of my listeners don't care about multiplayer. I will say this: Arc Raiders, bunch of fun. It clearly is the extraction shooter on console to kick off. It does make me worry though. I'm worried that is this game so popular, we're going to see every publisher under the sun release an extraction game all of a sudden. It's going to happen, isn't it? That's a worry. Logan, do you think that's going to happen given how big this is?
Oh, that extraction shooters are going to become the new industry darling fad trend, and everybody tries to make it, and almost everybody fails, and everybody gets tired of it, and we move on.
Yep.
That kind of thing. um, Honestly, no. I still think that extraction is more niche. Like, to me, it took a gargantuan, once in a generation, or like an extenuating circumstances with a pandemic and all this others zeitgeist type thing to get Souls likes to the forefront after being niche forever. Like Elden Ring, pandemic, plus, other stuff equals the breaking of the dam, and all this comes through, and it's just changed industry. Like, to me, I don't think this is going to be that. Could be wrong, but I don't think so.
Yeah, so that's just my worry because I love Arc Raiders. It's fun, and I think if people are wanting to get an extraction, get into something different. I think the main reason why it's taken over everything is because it's not a battle royale game. Every multiplayer that's came out over the past, let's say, 8 years, it's either a hero-based shooter or a battle royale. Right? It's either one of those two things, and like I felt like battle royale was getting played out like 5 years ago. And Warzone, I clearly like Warzone, but like there's something about Arc Raiders that's just really addictive. And hopefully we don't see constant extraction shooters next year. I know PUBG's coming out with one. Call of Duty DMZ 2's happening, but I think that's happening in 2026. But it's going to be weird. And Tarkov is coming to console. I think the only way that can be popular on console is if they do the PvE only mode, which people on PC really like. The unfortunate thing is it's locked behind a $250 bundle. Like, can you imagine if that happened to a console game? Wow. Yeah, do we expect the banger to be announced next week from Xbox? We'll talk about that stuff in the Game Awards segment. But I do think next week's going to be good across the board, and maybe even an Xbox Shadow drop. But we'll be talking about that in a bit. Now, we're about 30 minutes into the show now, and we literally have 18 topics left. My God in heaven. Anyway, let's see what we've got next. We'll do a run through of the shorter stories. Okay, actually, this isn't a story, but I want to talk about it quickly. Constant complaining online. Oh my God, right?
You could have a whole episode on that, man.
Yeah. So, like, with my journey with Silent Hill 2, I've been posting gameplay clips every day on Twitter, and I've just been posting memes as well, basically relating to Silent Hill 2. And I
Oh, the
posted
clothes
something.
basket blocks your way.
Yeah, honestly, it's ridiculous. So I posted a clip of me saying, "Oh, I've um, made it through the apartments in Silent Hill 2. The worst is behind me." That type of thing. I'm obviously joking, and not at the same time. So like, it got a lot of attention, right? And someone was complaining that my post had so many likes, and it was like, "Oh, so if I say, hey, I'm playing Vanquish, am I going to get a bunch of likes?" It's like, so now people are hating other people just over getting likes on social media, right? That's where we're at now, right? It doesn't matter what it is, people have to complain about something. It's ridiculous. I posted a meme about Silent Hill 2, the remake, about 4 days ago, and this tweet went viral in the UK. Actually, went viral everywhere. It got 110,000 likes and 8 million views, right? I couldn't believe it. It actually broke my notifications. But there were a lot of angry people just being nasty. It's like, oh, I'm just being positive about gaming, and I'm making a meme about a game, about something we all pick up on. And yeah, just people this past week have been really nasty, and I don't understand why. It's video games. We're meant to be enjoying them. And I guarantee you, if I was posting rage bait or just like constant negativity, I bet people would be fine with it. These people would be completely fine with it, and there's a lot of people that do that stuff. That's not me. But like being a positive person angers people, and I just don't get that. Yeah, like look, I'm honest about stuff, but by the end of the day, I'm still a positive guy. And positive posts really anger people. I just don't get it. It's like, Logan, you've seen this before. You posted how you'd get like a steel book and people get angry for no reason.
Yeah, or that I got an Ally Xbox Ally X and
Yeah,
was happy about it, or like even like it like to kid you not, just about how ridiculous people will go for criticism or what they'll criticize. One time I posted a photo of this fun little knickknack my sister got me. Just a sweet little thought. She had gone to a thrift store and found this cool little figurine statue thing. And it was a plastic green rhino, like just something fun, just funny. And I was like, "Hey, I like this. This is kind of cool." I took a picture of it and posted about it. It said, "Hey, cool." I was like, my sister randomly decided I needed a green rhino. Life's good. This is fun. And I even got hate on that. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, nothing political, nothing gaming, nothing religion, nothing any sport. It was a plastic green rhino. People are just psycho, man.
yeah. Before we move on to the other topics, I'll mention this quickly. I posted a picture of so I'm trying to finish my Xbox 360 collection. At some
Yeah.
point, I'll have a video about the entire collection, but I posted a picture of Spider-Man: Web of Shadows, right?
Oh, I bet they came out of the woodwork for that one.
Yeah, and like in the UK, I don't know if it's like this out in the US, but Spider-Man: Web of Shadows is an incredibly difficult game to find.
It is.
And it's even harder to find in good condition. And I found one in mint condition with the game guide. So like I was clearly happy to find this, and it's one of the few games I've got left on the collection I need, right? And someone replied saying, "All this won't matter when you're dead." It's like,
Jeez, what a philosopher,
yeah,
man.
it's like I get it. All
The
this,
end is nigh and everything is pointless and meaningless.
yeah. Like
Oh.
I just thought, like, do we really have to be so morbid about everything? Everything has to be a negative thing. It was just a picture of a 360 game, right? Games I didn't have the chance to play in the seventh generation, and yeah, just people were really angry. It's like, come on, man, And that's one of two Spider-Man games I've gotten recently. I actually got Spider-Man 3, the video game, last week.
Oh, the faces.
Yeah, and you know what? That game actually has most of the talent from the movie reprising their roles in that game. That game has a bad rap. Because the graphics at the time, it was an early 360 game, but man, like, and by the way, if you're collecting 360 games, the superhero games specifically, so hard to find, like so hard. I've got 2 more superhero games to get, and I'm done. But until then, we'll see. But yeah, just wanted to mention that people are just down all the time, and I don't get it. You know what? We have like 50,000 news topics. Let's get into them. So today, finally, Red Dead Redemption 1 got remastered. It's on Xbox. You can get it now. It's 50% off. You might be wondering, Jamie, where's my free copy? Well, I'm glad you asked, because Rockstar kind of messed up the deployment of the game. So for people that don't know, owners of the digital version of the Xbox 3 version, they are meant to get a free copy. And of course, things didn't go to plan. So because people didn't see it for free, immediately people start panicking. By the way, you wouldn't have seen this, Logan, because I know people deleted the tweets. Do you know people quote tweeted me saying I was wrong and spreading misinformation? People were like, "Oh no, it's the Xbox One version that's getting a free version, like a free. If you own the Xbox One version, of Red Dead Redemption, you get the Xbox Series version for free, right? People calling me a liar. People were
There
saying,
was no Xbox One version. It was a
yeah,
360 BC
yeah,
title.
exactly. And people, of course, had to go there. They had to be nasty, and saying that I was spreading misinformation, even though that, like you said, there is no Xbox One version. There isn't. So like, Rockstar came out after like 5 hours or something and said, "Look, we know there's issues. We're going to try and sort it." That's it, right? It was an accidental mess up, and it'll be sorted, right? Uh, some people are saying there's a fix rolling out. Some people have been able to get their free copy. Unfortunately, I still don't have access to mine. And just to check, it turns out I bought Red Dead Redemption, the 360 version, digitally, I think November 2023. So I definitely own it digitally. So I just have to wait for that to roll out to me. But it's not the end of the world. But because it wasn't instantly available, people start panicking. People were calling out Rockstar, saying they lied. And it's like, look, we are getting a free version of a new game because we own a 360 game digitally. I don't know what that looks like on the back end of Microsoft servers, right? The fact that you own this 2-generation old game, you get the new one for free, right? Red Dead Redemption is guaranteed to make a lot of money regardless. However, they must have some certain things in place to say that this person specifically owns the game or not. you know, does the save stuff carry over? Nothing carries over. It's a completely new version, unless they've changed something. But this game does not have multiplayer. It is specifically the campaign and Undead Nightmare. And Undead Nightmare, by the way, is fantastic. Some of the best.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, oh, it's amazing.
Standalone even is
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah, great game. Like, even though it is an expansion, I'd say it's one of the best zombie games ever made.
Oh, it is so fun, especially the horses of the apocalypse.
Oh yeah, so good. It's a travesty that we didn't get Undead Nightmare 2 for Red Dead 2. But man, at least the bonus side is that there's not going to be any achievements locked to multiplayer. And those multiplayer achievements in the first game originally were brutal. So, hey, there's a silver lining there. And if it isn't there yet, just hold out. It might show up over the night. I know people like the instant gratification of video games and seeing that in your library. Don't get me wrong. I've checked like 30 times on me. And I specifically went to my Xbox purchase history to find it. Yeah. Made sure to take a screenshot of it just in case after get a hold of Microsoft, because it's their problem and it's not mine. But hey, it's rolling out. Logan, will you be playing this new version at all?
Yeah, there's a good chance I will. That is still to this day, like, I know I haven't played the second one dash prequel still, but to this day the original one is one of the best games and campaigns I ever played.
Oh yeah.
I honestly like it better than GTA. Like, honestly, I wish they would kind of make Red Dead more of a focus. I know it doesn't have like the be careful with word choices.
Yeah,
but,
be careful.
It doesn't have some of the vibes and some of the stuff that a GTA has.
Yeah.
That obviously you didn't have as rampant or like even technologically possible during a Red Dead era. But just the vibe, just I don't know, something about John Marston's story and the way you went about things, from going down to Mexico to going up north, doing all kinds of, like, it just stands alone, and I like it, and I wish Rockstar would embrace that franchise, Bully, Agent, other stuff more. Heck, even Manhunt, if they had the balls to bring it back. Like, something other than just GTA. Because I love GTA, but it kind of gets same song and dance to me after a while.
Yeah. I mean, look, during the 360, we had 8 Rockstar games. 8. right? We've had Grand
That's
Theft
a
Auto.
far cry from now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like we've had Grand Theft Auto 5 3 times now. And look, considering Red Dead Redemption 2 is, I think it's like the fourth highest selling game of all time. Like, that didn't sell enough copies for Rockstar to continue making content for it, which is ridiculous, really. Um, but I'm hopeful that we'll see something in the future. Um, and by the way, for people that are just getting into Red Dead Redemption, either one or two, especially one, uh, before you start the game, go to the settings and just up the contrast, maybe like, I don't know, 10%, right? World of difference, because Red Dead Redemption's kind of washed out. Um, but if you just up the contrast, like the sky is like bright blue, and it still looks like realistic, Wild West setting. It's just, I think the default saturation isn't enough. But yeah, you know what? When I get access to it, I'll post the difference on social media. Anyway, let's move on. We've got like bloody hell a lot of topics. So Shovel Knight devs are reportedly gonna go bankrupt basically if their new game doesn't do well. Now this news was news to me because hasn't Shovel Knight been a huge game, a huge franchise for like 10 years now?
Yeah, since like 3DS.
Yeah, I don't get it. Um, I know they are a small team, but it feels to me like it's one of these times where they're an indie studio and maybe their money's being mismanaged. There's something funky going on. They've had a 3D Shovel Knight game in development for 5 years. So yeah, if their new game, Logan, can you remember the name of their new game that's coming out next year?
It's like Mina the Hollower or Hallower. It's
Yeah,
got a cute little mouse with a red bow.
yeah, and like it looks cool. It actually looks like a bunch of games I had on the Game Boy. That's not a knock on it. I loved those Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games, but
Mhm.
the fact that they're gonna be basically out of business if this game doesn't do well. I mean, look, I I don't want to be a downer on the whole situation, but I feel like that sends a pretty big message that look, this game needs to do well, and you know, what a lot of people are like these days. They won't play those types of games, so it's like they can't rely on big streamers to cover that type of game because they're playing things like Arc Raiders and stuff like that. So like, what do they mean by this game needs to be a success? Do they mean 1 million copies? Do they mean 5 million copies? We just don't know. It could mean 100,000 copies.
I think it said 200,000 copies, if I'm not mistaken, in one of the posts I saw.
I mean, who knows? If they have a Game Pass deal, maybe that'll help, because that has helped with development of some games before. But man, what a sad thing to hear beforehand. And I had in my mind that Shovel Knight was a sure thing. It was a success for 10 years. It's on basically everything. Like you said, it was on the 3DS. So yeah, like that's my like Logan. What do you think? Because it is a bit weird to find this out.
Yeah, it's a bummer and a huge shock to me because, like, I'm somebody who's actually purchased Shovel Knight like a ton of different times, different platforms, different versions because I liked it so much. And so to me, it was kind of shocking to hear that this studio might actually be in trouble. Like, part of me, like, tinfoil hat wonders if it's a little fear mongering, but as sometimes some places can kind of send out signals to make something sound worse than it is to try to generate, or maybe it's 100% just straightforward. Like, if we don't sell 200,000 copies, we're screwed. I hope it's not the case, but I would think with their level of acclaim and success that they would hit that number. Because like you said, there's been Shovel Knight, there's been Treasure Trove, there's been Shovel Knight Dig, there's been all these spin-offs and all this merchandise. I see Shovel Knight amiibos, Shovel Knight stuffed figures, Shovel Knight cameos in so many games.
Funko Pops.
He's like one of the most successful like indie darlings out there. So I don't know. I think they'll be all right, but it was just kind of like, huh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, like you mentioned the fear mongering thing. That's what I got from it instantly. Like, do I feel pressured to buy this game now because of this? Was it a game I was going to buy anyway? Like, and honestly, it's a game I've never even heard of up until today. Um, but that
They
could just
have a demo, I think, or they
yeah.
did.
But I mean, I'll give the demo a chance before the next episode we have next week. But yeah, I wish them the best, but that's all I can say really. You know what? We still have a bunch of topics. Let's go through these ones quick because we have some big ones. So, new bunch of Game Pass games have just been announced today. Available today, we have Lost Records, Bloom and Rage. That's available on cloud, PC, and Xbox Series X and S. That is basically in the style of Life is Strange, and it's made by the developers of Life is Strange. Next up, we have Monster Train 2 coming to cloud, PC, and Xbox Series X and S December 3rd. Next up, we have Spray Paint Simulator. For some reason, that's a mouthful. That's coming to cloud, console, and PC December 3rd. Going off the title, you can guess what you do in that game. 33 Immortals is still in game preview, but that's coming to cloud, console, and PC December 4th with Game Pass Premium. Indiana Jones and the Great Circles come to cloud, PC, and Xbox Series X in Game Pass Premium. I thought it was already there. This is probably the big one, at least it is for me. Routine is coming to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass with cloud, console, handheld, and PC December 4th. This is a first-person horror game set in an abandoned moon station where it kind of has this Alien Isolation vibe where you have to avoid automatons or androids. And this game's been in development for, 13 years?
Yeah, a decade plus, yeah.
Yeah, been in development for a long time. And normally that's a red flag for a lot of people, but from what I've seen in this game, it looks really good. The reviews have been coming out today. I've seen nothing but positive talk about this. And as a scaredy cat of, Alien Isolation and horror games in general, I can't wait to play this with the lights on. But yeah, that's coming out December 4th, if I remember correctly. Yeah, December 4th. That looks good. A game about digging a hole. That's coming to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, Premium, and PC Game Pass on cloud, handheld, PC, and Xbox Series consoles December 9th. And that game is shockingly about digging a hole. Who would have thought? Next up, we have Death Howl coming to handheld and PC December 9th, and Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass. Next up, we have Dome Keeper coming to cloud, console, handheld, PC, and Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, Premium, and PC Game Pass. What a mouthful. There's some other small games, and also Mortal Kombat 1 coming to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, Premium, PC Game Pass, Cloud, PC, and Series consoles December 10th. That was a mouthful. Now, I'm not big into fighting games anymore. However, I think I will be playing that just for the story mode. So for me, I'd say it's a decent month. We're about to get another list later in the month. Logan, what do you think? Because I know you're not really big into fighting games, but it looks decent.
I think it's a really good month. The game from the Life is Strange folks is right up my alley. I will love that, and I will probably, be very sad by the time the game is over if it follows trends of what they do.
Yeah, I mean, if it's anything
Touched and also traumatized by the game. Um, Routine is obviously the highlight for me, number one.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Because that game just, oh my gosh, that all the stuff I've seen on that makes your skin crawl and your hair stick up, and it just has Alien Isolation vibes mixed with. You remember the during that early 2000s when there was this huge craze for found footage horror games and movies, and how it's kind of started to come back now. But you remember the movie Quarantine and Wreck?
Yeah.
Record. It reminds me of that, but mixed with Alien Isolation. And it looks horrifying. And all the reviews and comments and everything I've seen about it have been glowing and positive. Like I don't think I've seen a score lower than a 9 on it. Of the ones I've seen, so that's crazy high praise. And I'm excited to check it out. Like to me, horror doesn't really need high scores anyway for me to check it out
Mm.
because I can either enjoy it because it's just so bad and so funny, or if it's really, really, really good. And it sounds like this one's really, really good. So excited to jump in. And I'm not gonna lie, that shovel game has my interest because I don't know why, but something about just digging a hole just it goes to your just intrinsic male just patterns, like just vibing. It's like you're at the beach, you're like, you know what, I'm gonna dig a hole, I'm just gonna build a sandcastle. And then people are like, oh, what are you doing? You're like, building a sandcastle. And they're like, okay, cool. And then everybody groups together and there's digging a hole or building a sandcastle. It's just, I don't know, it's like this dopamine hit. It sounds fun to me.
Yeah, I'm sure that I'll have some. I'm pretty sure that I'll have some weird achievements. Maybe get yourself stuck down there or something.
Or like dug to China, or
Yeah, maybe
yeah.
there's some like big community based achievement about digging to China or something. There's going to be a bunch of meme stuff in there. But yeah, Game Pass, not bad. Again for me, routine's the big one. Love myself some sci-fi horror, and like look, if you have even 10% of like an Alien Isolation vibe, you're already getting my attention, right? If you
Mhm.
remotely look like Alien Isolation, instantly gets my attention. And like you said, the review score thing for horror games, it's not a big deal. Like remember, IGN gave Alien Isolation a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, to this day, one of the two worst reviews I've ever seen from them. That dinging Pokemon Ruby for too much water.
Yeah, like I don't know what they were what they were thinking, but hey, cool month, and I'm sure we'll have more games announced in a couple of weeks. Okay, let's see what we got next. Okay, Silent Hill. That's Silent Hill. You can tell I've got Silent Hill on the brain. Cyberpunk 2077. The sequel is in development. There's over 100 people now working on the sequel, and it looks like we might actually have two cities in the next game. One being Night City
Ooh, I
returning,
like that.
and also a city that's apparently going to be a super dark version of something like Chicago. And look, I love
What do
Cyberpunk.
you mean by dark exactly? Do you mean like underground or like super seedy and scary? Like what exactly do you mean?
Well, they said Chicago gone wrong.
Oh, okay.
So I think
I'm just curious.
yeah, I think maybe it's going to be something like maybe like Blade Runner, or like you remember what the city was like in Blade Runner, the first one, right?
Yeah, super scuzzy
Yeah,
and grimy and cyberpunky. Like
yeah,
not like glorious cyberpunk, but kind of like ugh.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean that's the vibe I'm getting. But look, this game's coming out sometime before 2030, so we're not going to see it for a while. I'd be shocked if we see a teaser of any kind. But then again, Cyberpunk 2077 was technically announced 8 years before it came out. So, uh, who knows? Maybe it will. And consider is CD Projekt Red. They aren't really predictable these days, but we'll see. Let's
Don't they
see what.
have like 3 Witcher projects
Yeah,
in works too?
yeah. They have
How big
Witcher.
is the studio?
Yeah, so they have Witcher 4 in development. They have the Witcher remake, and there's a different studio making a different Witcher game. So like we're gonna see a bunch of Witcher games before Cyberpunk. So like Witcher fans, you're getting some good stuff. But Cyberpunk, Logan, you did play 2077, right?
I still actually haven't fully dived in yet.
Wow. Well, you are in for a treat. Because that game is just magical. Um, and the thing is, that game I was actually put off beforehand before I played it because cyberpunk to me is a subgenre has always been dark, seedy, the underbelly of society and corporate basically corporations running the world. Like, typical cyberpunk like Blade Runner, Akira, Alita Battle Angel, that type thing, right? I thought we were going to get that type of Cyberpunk, but I was happy with what we got. It's something different, and I don't need everything to be the same. So, hey, I'm happy to be wrong. But anyway, let's see what we've got next. Okay, Avatar Frontiers of Pandora gets its third-person mode this Friday, free update, and it looks phenomenal. I've praised this game a lot. I've called it a million times. It's Far Cry for hippies, but it works. And it's a fun game. I think a lot of people are going to have a lot of fun with this third-person mode. And as I've been saying, it's a relaunch for the game. Ubisoft did not market this game whatsoever, and it's a travesty, right? I think they were relying on people to go off the brand alone, the Avatar brand, and just go out and support this game, and they didn't. Nobody bloody knew it existed. However, now people are paying a lot of attention to this third-person mode, and excuse me, and a lot of people have actually replied to me saying, "But it shouldn't matter if it's third person or first person." I agree with that. The reason why I think it's okay in this situation, why it makes sense for this game to specifically have a third-person mode, is because the developers have listened to basically every single piece of feedback over the past couple of years. They've put in features, updates, quality of life improvements across the board, and the one thing people wanted, more than anything, was a third-person camera. You spend a lot of time riding mounts in this game, but when you ride a mount, it's in third person. So when you spend 2/3 of this game going from place to place in third person, you're enjoying the scenery, you see what your character looks like, right? But when you go to first person, all that goes away. And stealth doesn't necessarily work in first person. Now, this is where someone clips what I've just said and runs with it because they think I'm saying something I'm not. First person in stealth works really well. The reason why it doesn't work so well in Avatar Frontiers of Pandora is because you play it as a 9-foot tall alien. So when you are crouched, you are the size of a human, standing up. And that's why the stealth will be better in third person, because you're going to actually be able to see whether you're in cover or not. That's one of the cool things about Avatar. You're playing from the perspective as a 9-foot tall character, and the size of people and just random objects is so small. So the camera perspective change will help. But yeah, it's getting the relaunch it deserves. Logan, I know you haven't played it yet, but you did pick it up, right?
Yeah, I got the Ultimate Edition on sale for like 45 or whatever at one point. So I was about to dive in soon, and then I remembered the third person update was coming, so I decided I'd wait till that.
Yep. The wait will be worth it. It's a beautiful game. You know, people talk about what's the best looking game of the generation. That's definitely in the conversation. There's no open world like it. And look, Avatar as a franchise gets a lot of hate. Not from me. I like being in that blue alien world. I like that planet. Oh well, it's technically a moon. I just love that universe. It's so simple, and people complain that it's the Postman, or Dances with Wolves, but just with aliens, and I think that's perfectly fine. I think they have a really cool universe there, and if you have two movies and combined they've grossed $4 billion, you can't go out there and say it's bad. So I will defend that game. I will defend those films. They aren't the best things ever, but my God, they are quality movies. And by the way, we talk about AAA slop. Let's look at movie slop. My God, there's so much slop out there in the movie space. Everything looks the same now. Everything has flat lighting. Do you know what does look good? Avatar 1 and 2. And 3 is looking even better. Anyway, we'll move on. And we still have 5 Ubisoft topics. So, Assassin's Creed Shadows is getting an end to its roadmap because they're not putting out a second expansion for it. This has disappointed a lot of people. However, it doesn't really surprise me. Honestly, Ubisoft in the past, they've completely ditched games and stopped giving them support in the past. So, the fact they're doing it with this, it doesn't surprise me. what does surprise me is the way they've went about it. You know, they haven't really done a full-on major official announcement. They just basically told IGN, "Hey, we aren't doing a second expansion anymore." I get that will be really disappointing to fans of the game, but Ubisoft, they've done this in the past. Um, Splinter Cell Blacklist was meant to get 2 years of content. They cancelled basically half of it because it didn't meet the sales expectations for its first month. Um, and what can I say? Like, I love a lot of Ubisoft games, but sometimes they have bad launches with them. There's people that look. We've all seen the rage bait on there. I'm not even going to talk about it, but like that game did not stand a chance. I'm sure in the long term it will. And by the way, I haven't played it yet. I think the game looks fantastic. I just don't have enough time in my life to actually play a game that big yet, right? I will be playing it over Christmas more than likely. But yeah, it not getting its second, expansion doesn't really surprise me. Um, well, will it continue to get updates still? Yeah. Ubisoft, say what you will about them, they support their games with lots of updates. We've just been talking about Avatar. That game has had tons of updates since launch. It's right now it's going to get the third person mode. So like, I do commend Ubisoft for actually updating their games, and I'm sure they'll do the same with Assassin's Creed, and hopefully in time they'll do the same with things like Star Wars Outlaws. Logan, I know you haven't played Assassin's Creed Shadows yet. What's your take on the whole situation?
Um, Honestly, I'm not surprised that they're just not doing the expansion. They'll keep updating it and stuff, but this one, because of all the whatever your opinion is on the drama that was around it, there was a lot, and that maybe they're just kind of like we're just gonna take the good that we got from this and kind of just gently set this aside and move along. And we'll update it and stuff, but not have any more story content or this or this. So we don't have to keep relitigating stuff or going over stuff and just move on to a different game. Like to me, that's kind of the vibe I'm getting from it.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens, and it is coming up close to Christmas where these developers are going to go dark for a couple of weeks. So like, if we hear anything officially, properly about the future of this game, it's probably going to be mid-January. But it is a big game in itself. The expansion has its own content. There's a free event going on right now, I believe, till later in December, which is an Attack on Titan event, which looks really cool. Uh, the only downside I have for these types of things is that they are timed, right? It's like I won't be playing this game till like late December, and I think that kind of material should be there for everyone forever, or at least for an extended period of time. But like, I think giving people a couple of weeks to play this Attack on Titan content, they should have gave more time. Logan, what do you think about that? Because like, timed material like this, it's cool, but it's only there for a short amount of time.
To me, I this might be an old man's soapbox kind of thing, but I feel like timed events are kind of a bummer. Like I think you should introduce events and let them just stay around with the game if people want to play that, or like even offline or something. Like I get it if it's maybe like a Halloween event, and for Halloween we'll have pumpkin head dudes or goblins, ghouls, something like that, and then it goes away, and it'll be back again for Halloween next year, something like that. Okay, but for like stuff like this isn't like a specific holiday or season thing. It's just, hey, we have this cool collab, and if you don't hop in the next 2 weeks, too bad, so sad. Like, yeah, get out of here. We can do better than that.
Yeah. You know what? Before we continue on the next topic, we're about an hour into the show. If you are enjoying it, please hit like, share, and subscribe. It really does help the channel out, and it helps the podcast and channel grow and all that stuff. Super chats are supported on the channel, so if you want to support the channel with that, I can't speak today for some reason. If I have like a week or two off podcasts, I just lose the ability to speak. But super chats are live if you want to support the channel that way. It all gets funneled back into the show, and I have lots of cool things coming in the new year. Anyway, let's talk about Splinter Cell, because I have a habit of ranting about Splinter Cell every week, and I don't think people can blame me. Splinter Cell has been a franchise that's been missing for 12 years, 12 long years, and it's been so annoying, man. Because Splinter Cell Blacklist comes out in August 2013. You know, before the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 came out. And the game, to me, I think it has the best mission structure of the entire franchise. I think it's a super fun game, and it just didn't get the support it needed, and it didn't pop off. It didn't pop off. Nobody really played it. Nobody really talked about it, which was weird because it was featured at multiple E3s, both at Microsoft's show and Ubisoft's. And it just didn't do that well. And ever since, Ubisoft has been teasing different Splinter Cell stuff through different franchises, basically all the time. We have Sam Fisher featured in Ghost Recon Wildlands back in 2015, I believe. And he says that famous line, or it's only him. Basically a reference to Metal Gear Solid and how we weren't going to get any more new ones, right? But my problem is, it's not just him, because we haven't had a new Splinter Cell game for 12 years. There's a Splinter Cell skin in basically every single Ubisoft product since. Mobile games, free-to-play, premium, anything about it, there's something Splinter Cell out there, right? And it annoys the hell out of me, right? It really annoys the hell out of me. And we finally get an announcement for a Splinter Cell remake, like 4 years ago, and that's it since. We did get 4 screenshots. When I say screenshots, I mean concept art 3 years ago, right? And it looks cool. I like concept art, but concept art isn't enough for me to go on. And fast forward to yesterday. Oh no, actually, fast forward a couple of months ago, the official Ubisoft Twitter account posts this high polygon image of Sam Fisher's face from the first Splinter Cell game. So that made people think, oh, so we are going to get the official reveal soon. And then nothing happened. And then yesterday we find out that the creative director that left Splinter Cell Remake 3 years ago to work on a free-to-play game is now working back on the Splinter Cell Remake. And a lot of people tagged me saying this is great news. Phenomenal, right? And to me, this is actually bad news. Think about it. This linear, small, 15, 12-hour game from, 2002, is taking all these years to make, where they've went through multiple creative directors. Why is it taking this long? Because if this was some massive open world, ambitious game, then maybe I could excuse this game taking so long to make, but this is a 12-hour game that's linear. They already have the framework. They said they were going to keep to the source material. They were only going to change some things and modernize them a little bit. So, why is this smaller game taking so many years to come out? So, that's why the original creative director coming back, that's not a good thing. That's a bad thing, because that's showing that the team have made they've made no effort whatsoever. I know I might sound a bit angry, but I'm heated, right? They couldn't have made any progress these past few years. The current creative director didn't do what? Didn't do anything. So, why is it taking so long to make? If this game comes out eventually, and it's not somehow the best looking game of all time, and it's ambitious, there's cloth and fluid physics throughout the wazoo, right? Unless it has all that stuff, then why is it taking so long to make? And I don't think Splinter Cell Remake needs to have all those things, but it shouldn't take 4 years, right? The Oblivion remake got made in less time. and that is a huge open world game with like 150 dungeons, right? So why Splinter Cell of all games? And I'm sure if people listening, you've played the original Splinter Cell game. It's not a big game. You have small contained areas where there's like lots of cool lighting and stuff for the time. But why is it taking 4 years to make? So yeah, so when that was officially revealed yesterday, well, not revealed, but leaked, that the creative director's back, that told me that Ubisoft has no idea what they're doing, because I feel that maybe they've spent so many years making this, trying different ways to make a modern Splinter Cell game that they can monetize in some way outside of the initial game purchase, that they can't make a game like that anymore. Ubisoft can't make linear games anymore. Every game they come out with is massive open world. You have towers, you unlock parts of the map, and they've even memed about it. But guess what? That's what their game design is like. And my worry is that this game is never going to see the light of day simply because it can't have external monetization practices. I've been talking for about 5 minutes non-stop. Logan, what's your take? Because 4 years for a linear third-person shooter style stealth game that they already have the framework for.
Yeah, my initial thought is, to be blunt, that they're just scared bleepless about how to handle Splinter Cell, and that, they're shaking in their boots, and they just, um, the fan expectations, what, rival brands would expect, like, all the stuff surrounding this game. This is a legacy title that a lot of people love, and it was a highly influential game. And the idea of all that on them, I bet, weighs pretty heavily. Plus, like you've astutely noted, there has been quite a bit of change at Ubisoft in particular as far as developmental strategy since OG Xbox and 360 to now. Like the style of games they play, the franchises they do, and like even down to like mechanics and just the way they design things in general is dramatically different. So the idea of trying to stretch out a single player linear experience that was pretty short, to be honest,
Yep.
but short, put that out there and find ways to bleed you for more money or content or hours non-authentically is concerning. Like, that's a valid concern to have about this. To me, the fact that it's been 4 years and they had to bring back this guy as some kind of quote savior for the game makes me wonder just how much progress, if any, they had made, period. Or like makes you wonder if those rumors about it having been rebooted at least once or twice were accurate. And it's not a great vote of confidence. Like, I get it. People are like, yeah, he's come to save it. I'm like, yeah, that's good. And I hope he does. But the fact that we're here 4 years later and all we've had are a few HD little pictures and nothing of substance for this game is a problem for a game that size. It'd be different if they were doing like a Resident Evil 2 remake of, Resident Evil 2 originally, which was much larger in scale and dramatic differences for the remake. Or, like you said, Oblivion, they were able to crank that sucker out in short time. And it is gorgeous and wonderful and just a fantastic remake remaster. Like, it should not be this difficult. It really should not be. And the fact that even Prince of Persia has finally popped its head up
Yeah.
and we're going to get released in a couple months. That game that looked worse than the OG Xbox original when they first debuted it is going to come out before we get updates on that. That's a big problem.
Yeah. Prince of Persia, that looked rough.
Oh my gosh, it looked like N64 compared to original Xbox, and you're telling me this is the remake? It's like, what on earth are you smoking, man?
Yeah, and that started. They've restarted that game like 4 or 5 times, but man, look, I don't want to sound like I'm whining about Splinter Cell every week, but that's basically what I'm doing every week. Um, I love the franchise. You know, third person stealth games, we don't really get many anymore. And the stealth genre is kind of on a quiet turn. And look, I think Mudang
Perfect
2
Dark. Yeah.
yeah, Mudang 2 Hearts, which comes out next year, I think that game's going to be phenomenal. I think that's going to be something Splinter Cell fans are going to need. You know, 007 First Light, that game's got stealth in it. I think people are going to have fun with that. I can't wait for it. That's my most anticipated game next year. A Bond game. Who would have thought? Um, but like Splinter Cell, like it just worries me because I bet one of the reasons why they can't get that game out the door is because I think they like the higher ups at Ubisoft. I bet that they don't want to put out a game that isn't $70. They put 2 teaser games out. Sorry, let's say 3. They put out their free-to-play games, they put out their premium games, and the smaller titles. I can't see them putting out a $50 game. Because I think that's how much a Splinter Cell remake would have to cost. You can't charge 70, you can't charge 60. I think 50 would be the sweet spot for a 12 to 15 hour stealth game that's linear. Might be harsh, but we're in the modern age where everything costs more, and it's like, why am I paying this amount of money for such a short game? Because that's what people look at now. I know equating game length to, you know, price isn't something I normally agree with, but like look at Metal Gear Solid, right? Metal Gear Solid 3 is one of the best games ever made. Its remake is 1-to-1 modern gameplay, amazing visuals, some of the best visuals this generation, and they charge $70 for it. I think that costs too much for a game like that because I've played through Metal Gear Solid maybe 20 times, Metal Gear Solid 3. That game's about 6 hours long, right? It's not a long game. All Metal Gear Solid games outside of 5 are short because the stealth games don't need to be long. So I think charging that amount of money for them is a bit much. But hey, I love it for the Game Awards to happen and for Ubisoft to prove me wrong and show me this amazing Splinter Cell game. Maybe have Michael Ironside back and, you know, promise like even a collection of Splinter Cell games as well. And by the way, they've taken off all of the Splinter Cell games off the Xbox store outside of Conviction, Blacklist, and I think Pandora Tomorrow. Like you can't buy the other ones on 360. Oh, sorry, on Xbox Series consoles anymore, right? So it's like, are we going to get a collection of old games at least? Because I would buy them, but we can't. And yeah, just thought that would be my weekly whine about Splinter Cell because there's something substantial this week. A director coming back to fix the job. My God.
They did add the original one to GOG's Good Old Games initiative on PC if you have interest. It's not too much.
Yeah, I might get that. I honestly wish I picked them up when they were backwards compatible. Because I always thought, silly me having faith in the game industry, thinking, oh, those are going to be on the store. I can buy them whenever. I've got them on disc, but I can buy them digitally whenever. And I have mentioned this before. I think developers should give us a warning whether something's going to be delisted or not. Give us some time. Put the games on sale at least. Guarantee you'd get sales. But hey, that's just me. You know
I
what?
agree.
Like,
That's how I missed out on Transformer games
yeah,
and the Marvel Ultimate Alliance remasters. I would have bought those if I knew they were gone the next day.
yeah. I mean, look at the Deadpool game, right? Deadpool game comes out in what 2011. It gets a remaster in 2016, and it was delisted after 6 months. Like, why? You put all that effort into a remaster and you just have it on sale for 6 months. But yeah, James Bond remastered collection. I would buy that in an instant. My God.
Oh, Night Dive
Yeah.
and oh my, yeah, there was a Or Nightfire. Night Dive
Nightfire,
would
yeah.
do a great job, but Nightfire was the game. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a third-person Pierce Brosnan one on the PS2. I can't remember what it was called, but like,
Oh yeah, there was no one live. There was Nightfire. There was the From Russia with Love, which had Sean Connery in it, and it was incredible.
yeah,
And there was I can't remember. There was GoldenEye Rogue Agent, GoldenEye, and there was one that I don't remember. The cover was white. White with red font. I remember specifically for like the key art, and then a different one with Pierce Bronson in it that had a blue cartridge for the N64. Like I can't remember what the game was though.
yeah. Okay, so Nick in chat mentioned it was Everything or Nothing, uh the Pierce Brosnan one, because that game was damn good. That was a third-person one. Um, I played the demo for that, by the way, maybe 200 times before I got the game. Like, there was something about that as a kid playing a demo so many times, where you basically almost wear out the disc. Like, I did that so much. My God, do you know what? I still miss demo discs for some reason.
And they used to come with the magazine, and it would like come with like 5 to 10 demos of upcoming titles, and sometimes cool music or artwork and stuff. They were great.
Yeah. But yeah, Bond games. Basically, you know, I wouldn't mind a collection of basically any old game. I just don't care at this point. You know, give me all the old games, and I want new games as well. Look, I'm one of the people that's out there basically on a daily basis asking for a Dino Crisis collection, and
Same. Preach.
and Capcom is just not listening apparently. And for people that don't know, do you know the reason why we don't have a collection of old Resident Evil games on modern platforms? Is because the people that work high up at Capcom don't see the point of old games if they have new remakes. Come on. Like, come on. I would love to be able to play the original Resident Evil 2 on my Xbox.
You
Like,
can on GOG. I know they have a good relationship with Capcom recently, to where they've got Breath of Fire 4 in their good old games catalog with enhancements. They've added Resident Evil 1 Director's Cut 2 and 3 in their GOG program, and Dino Crisis 1 and 2, and they've made a bunch of enhancements to those. But
yeah.
yes, it's the original ones. Like, it would be cool if Capcom would acknowledge they exist and make a new one.
Yeah, hopefully, you know, if there's enough interest on GOG, they'll actually, you know, make collections. Because I can't imagine, and I'm putting my game developer hat on because I clearly know what I'm talking about. I can't think it would be that difficult to make collections of those old games. It just can't, right? Hell, even put Dino Crisis 3 on there, the sci-fi game where he's in space and there's
Oh
T-Rexes.
man, I want that one too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that. By the way, that game does absolutely scream, "Hey, look at us! We're an early 2000s game." Like, to a T, because you have this game set on this spaceship where there's T-Rexes on it for some reason. Like, okay, that makes sense. But you know what? I like that early 2000s like CGI anime style. Like, I'm one of the 5 people that saw this sci-fi film that came out in 2007 called Vexiel. I guarantee no one in chat has heard that film.
That does not ring a bell to me.
Exactly. It's a animated Japanese anime CGI movie, feature-length movie where it's about how Japan's robotics has advanced so much that they basically control the world's supply of robots, and they isolate themselves from the rest of society, and nobody else can see what's going on in Japan until one day they send in a team to see what's going on. It's amazing, right? And I'm like one of the 5 people that saw it, and nobody's heard of it. And if people get the chance to see it, it's called Vexiel. My God, that is some good sci-fi. But yeah, Dino Crisis, Capcom, please listen. Anyway, let's see what we've got next. Okay, here we go. Stellar Blade. Finally. Stellar Blade is reportedly coming to multiple platforms when the sequel comes out, and they're apparently looking into multiple options for the first game. And they have consoles listed, multiple. And you know what? Damn good time. Right, I cannot wait for this because look, I talk about sci-fi all the time. I clearly like basically slap anything with sci-fi on it. I'll enjoy it to some extent, but this is a Souls-like style action adventure where it's sci-fi, and I think that game looks cool as hell. And people have been wanting that to come to Xbox, and it looks like it probably will. Will the first game come before the second one? I'm putting this out there. I think Stellar Blade, the first one, will come to Xbox the same way Silent Hill 2 and Death Stranding has. Right? You're going to have an obscure shadow drop in an obscure time where it's going to be 50% off at a lower price already. You know, they have this huge franchise planned. That studio, they clearly had a success with that first game. And, you know, they probably will be self-publishing the sequel. You know, Sony published the first game. Logan, I know you've had your eye on this game as well, but it looks like we might actually be seeing Stellar Blade on Xbox.
Yeah, I'm excited for this. I picked it up on Steam for my Xbox Ally X, because I wasn't sure just how far down the road it would be till it actually came to Xbox,
Yeah.
but I've enjoyed it so far. It's really fun. If you like Nier Automata and games like that, or just fun sci-fi anime, or dystopian robots, crazy just martial arts and flying around abilities and stuff, and then there's tons of customization for like hair, aesthetics, costumes, all kinds of stuff. Like there's a ton of replayability in it, and I'm excited. I will definitely pick it up if they release a native Xbox version, and it would be especially day one for me if they do it like you said for Death Stranding and Silent Hill 2, just like out of nowhere, 50% off a low price already.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're going to see more of that. And not just for like, you know, these like timed games. I think we're going to see that across the board. You know, price is becoming a huge factor with games where like, you know, we always hear about this mysterious analyst that always talks about how the game industry will be better off if we pay $100, right? Okay, one, notice this mysterious analyst never has a name. Right? Like it's just this made up person. And you know, it's an industry plant, that's what I'm saying. Um but like when it comes to like the price of these games, like I 100% think Stellar Blade will be priced the same way, and it's a good way. You get a lot of people buying in volume at a lower price. Like yeah, you're gonna have a few games like your GTA's and stuff like that. That's obviously gonna sell, unfortunately, no matter what its cost is, right? Um, but like Death Stranding last year, that's a game that's perceived to be a FedEx dude simulator, right? And that game topped the charts on Xbox in a lot of countries. And its perception is a dude carrying boxes simulator. And you know, a lot of people saw that price last year, 50% off at an already low price, and that was an impulse buy, right? Right. So for me, who had not really any intention of ever playing it, because again, it was the FedEx thing, and I bought it, and I ended up loving it. Right, Silent Hill 2. Before that had its shadow drop, I had no intention of buying Silent Hill 2 till like late December. But when it was that price, I was like, oh, okay, I'm getting it now. And clearly, I loved the game. I glazed that game way too much at the beginning of the show, or maybe not enough. But yeah, I'd be shocked if Stellar Blade isn't put on Xbox in the next 6 months. If anything, yeah, first 6 months of next year at the latest. But hey, the sequel is definitely going to be multi-platform. And, you know, I think we're going to just be seeing more of that across the board. We're seeing more and more Japanese and Korean developers put their games on Xbox, and Chinese developers. So, hey, I'm all for it. Bring on the sci-fi goodness. Let's see what we've got next. My God, we've still got a bunch. Okay, let's talk about the Game Awards. I've been asked a million times about this door. People are coming up with theories as to what it could be. Why would Jeff Keighley be hyping up this thing that's a door? And for people that don't know, this kind of screenshot and video went viral on social media of this. I'm not going to call it Oblivion style looking door, but it's basically a cross between an Oblivion gate and the Eye of Sauron, or Sauron. And nobody can really figure out what it's from, right? There's people hoping it's the Elder Scrolls. There's people thinking it's Diablo, right? And I think a lot of people are looking at thinking, just because it's been teased, it has to be the biggest thing ever, right? And this is where I'm going to be the party pooper, right? How many times has Jeff Keighley hyped up things for the Game Awards and it's never happened, right? We've had rumors about Half-Life for years now, and Jeff Keighley has never acknowledged them, right? Maybe subtly teased about it, but he's never denied it or said, like, it's happening, right? And a couple of years ago, we were teased that there was going to be this massive reveal at the Game Awards. Absolutely huge. And do you know what that game was? Fast and the Furious, the video game. Right? Vin Diesel walks out on stage, talks about this new game, and it is a game that you can't even buy anymore, by the way. It was delisted. And it was a throwaway AA licensed title, right? So we had this 2-hour, 3-hour build-up of Game Awards for this one more thing. And it was a Fast and the Furious game that nobody liked. So, like, that's why I say people have to, like, you know, tone down what they think this is going to be. Because people keep going to Elder Scrolls. I can tell you right now, that isn't Elder Scrolls. Because I've played a lot of Skyrim, I've played a lot of Oblivion, and I played some Morrowind. I can tell you that that enemy is not a thing in those games, right? We have dragons, we have bears, we have skeletons, right? We have ogres, we have giants, right? We don't really have eye tentacle monsters. That's not really an Elder Scrollsy thing. So to me, I saw that door and thought, oh, it's Lords of the Fallen 2. Right? My brain instantly went there. It could be Diablo, but I don't think they would actually market an expansion with a prop for the Game Awards or a teaser for the Game Awards. So to me, it's either Lords of the Fallen or what Infinite Umbra said earlier today on Boom Show. It could be Darksiders 4. In my opinion, it's one of those two games. It's Darksiders 4 or Lords of the Fallen 2. Because I just can't see that art style. Yeah, they did show off other Xbox things in the past, but like, and by the way, this isn't me saying I don't think Jeff Keighley is going to not show anything good. I think there's going to be some cool games there. But like, we have to be careful with these announcements because, again, last year there were rumors about Half-Life, and he didn't deny it, and then Half-Life 3 didn't happen. And this year, there's all sorts of rumors. We'll be talking about Half-Life 3 in a minute. Like, if you have this like GPS teaser thing set up, and it's this statue of this door in the middle of nowhere, and it lights up on a night or whatever, to me, it just looks like Lords of the Fallen 2. Because the developers have talked about how there's more surprises coming to the first game. The sequel is going to be shown off apparently soon. So, like, to me, that does seem like it would be Lords of the Fallen 2. Now, I would love to be wrong, by the way. If this ends up being Elder Scrolls 6, I would love to be wrong. Please let me be wrong. Because I want to see what Elder Scrolls looks like. I just don't think it's that. It could be a new IP entirely. It could be a studio that we've never heard of. It could be a Microsoft game. It could be a Sony game. It could be... Let's face it, it's not a Nintendo game. But, like, it's definitely something different. Logan, there's been all sorts of speculation for the past couple of days now. Like, what do you think this weird eye tentacle door thing is?
I don't know. It's a good question because I've seen that, I've there was also another tease the other day of like this doorway looking thing in the desert, and which I'm gonna throw a suggestion out there. This might be Alex Jones level of tinfoil hat, but just walk with me for a second. Um, you remember the other day how randomly IGN dropped a expose on Dante's Inferno 2, the
Oh yeah.
game that never was? To me, that wall and that doorway and everything looked super gates of hell to me, kind of. And so, which a lot of people ran with for Diablo and stuff, which, I mean, I get it, it makes sense. But what if they randomly drop that story and there's a reason behind the timing and everything for dropping that story when they do? Get that idea back circulating to where what if this is a Dante's Inferno type of game or something related to, I don't know, it's a hunch. It's I'm not saying that's what it is, but it brought those vibes to me. So maybe that, like, obviously there's been the GPS locator thing of Black Mesa. There's been the, the voice actor thing, a whole bunch of other teases. Keeley tweeting out that giant machine thing from Half Life, like all kinds of stuff screaming Half Life. That I think Half Life will be revealed at some point, whether it's Keeley or not. I don't know. But whatever this is, it definitely has my interest because it looks really cool.
Yeah. I mean, look, every year I feel the need to try and temper people's expectations when it comes to the one thing that people are waiting for. Like, I think there's going to be some really good games. I think Microsoft's actually going to shadow drop at least one game, right? I think the one game that Microsoft's going to shadow drop is the Fallout thing, Fallout 3 remake. Um, because you have the new Fallout show, which is debuting around about the same time. Fallout had a huge boost because of the season one of the show, to the point where it got them thinking that maybe they need to make Fallout and Elder Scrolls at the same time. And the other game, which I think could be it, is, and there's been rumors of this for about 2 months now, is the Prototype remake. By the way, I don't think the Prototype remake or the Fallout thing is the door. I just think these are going to be surprises. And look, I give Jeff Keighley the Game Awards some credit when they do have good announcements there. Like Exodus was announced there, and I've talked about that game nonstop since it was announced. Right, it's a Mass Effect style game. Hell, Mass Effect 3 was announced at the Game Awards. That was a cool announcement. That's back when it was with, I think it was Spike TV in the US. Where it was more over the top, but it's more respectable now. Look, I think there's going to be some really cool games here in the show's next Thursday. It should be really good. It's just it tends to be and it's my problem with award shows in general, like the Oscars and stuff. It's 3 hours long, right? Does it really need to be that long? It does because of the amount of trailers and advertisers, because advertisers get X amount of time for X amount of dollars. But I'm sure we're going to see some big announcements there. At this rate, I'd be shocked if the Fallout 3 remake isn't there. Logan, considering the TV show is coming out soon and the Game Awards is out around about the same time, do you think that's actually where Fallout's going to be announced?
Honestly, they're running out of places and time to reveal it if it's going to happen this year before the show. So I feel that's a good bet.
Yeah,
I'll
because
put it that way.
Todd Howard basically he kind of acknowledged it during the Fallout stream, and it's why wouldn't you announce it during the Fallout stream? It was the celebration. There's going to be so many eyes on the Game Awards because people are expecting Half-Life, people are expecting the game they've been waiting for. And it's look, Oblivion, that was a big deal. They shadow dropped that, right, on their own stream, right? if you have several million people watching the Game Awards across all platforms, and like Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, whatever you want to call it, like, and you have Fallout 3 remake out right now, that's essentially a new Fallout game for millions of people. So like that's going to make a lot of money. I know my backlog is terrible as it is, but I'll put this out there. I will drop everything for Fallout 3. Like every game. Because that game is just so special. My God. Even its expansions. Brilliant. Hell, I just want to play Mothership Zeta again. When you're on the massive UFO. That was a brilliant expansion. But yeah, I think the Game Awards should be good, but I'd be shocked if that door isn't Lords of the Fallen 2 or Darksiders. But hey, I hope Jeff Keighley surprised me. I hope it's something new. And part of it actually me got me wondering that there's been rumors now of a new third-person Lord of the Rings action-adventure game that's going to be announced soon. I've tried to look at that door different ways and think, is there any way that fits into the Lord of the Rings universe?
I mean, it's kind of Mordory. I mean, pun not intended. It is kind of like that.
Yeah. It's just the tentacles throw me off. That's a sentence I never want to say again. But yeah, like we should be seeing. Actually, we probably will see the new Lord of the Rings video game at the Game Awards, regardless whether it's this door thing. But hey, we'll find out next week. Let's see what we've got next. My God, still too many topics. You know what? We'll talk about the Half-Life 3 thing quickly because we've already mentioned it. So Half-Life 3 has been rumored for 20 years now, and it's hard to pin down whether a rumor is just made up, right? We always hear about these voice actors that have worked on the game, there's writers that have wrote the game, and this game has apparently been just done for a while, but they've been waiting for the right technology and all that stuff. And look, I might be getting my own hopes up, but I feel like this is the year. I feel like this is the year because it just feels like there's been too much, right? They have 3 pieces of hardware coming out, right? Like, wouldn't you think Valve of anyone would want a game ready for their new Steam box thing, Steam machine, and like VR and stuff? Like, I don't know. With all the rumors, you have Jeff Keighley, the Game Awards, how they wrote out a post a couple of weeks ago very specifically, and this is what threw me off. They said it's the 20th anniversary of Half-Life 2, and they said the second game, right? Half-Life, the second game. The way that was wrote really made my eye twitch because I was thinking, why would you write Half-Life 2 that way? Half-Life, the second game. Maybe I'm going all Sherlock Holmes here, but something threw me off, and I'm thinking, this is it. It's finally happening. Hey, Logan, we've talked about Half-Life 3 basically every single time, every single November for the past couple of years in December. Like, do you think it's happening?
I do. I do think we will see Half-Life 3 before the end of the year. Whether it's with Keighley or if Gabe decides to have a hollow message from his yacht. I think we will see Half-Life 3 at some point before the end of the year.
Like, don't get me wrong, right? I try to temper my own expectations for these things because, like, when it comes to like big game announcements, like Half-Life 3 has to be the biggest, most hyped thing of all time. Like, more so than GTA 6.
Yeah, it's the one game that could take GTA's launch money. The one.
Like GTA, like it's gonna sell more copies than anything. But like Half-Life 3 would have so many eyes on it. Like it's the only hype stealer of GTA, and we've been wanting a new one for 20 years, right? 20 years. I'm actually surprised that they haven't put out a new version of the orange box. That makes no sense. But like if you're Valve, you have 3 new pieces of hardware coming out, and you have all this talk about Valve putting more money into games again because like Valve basically prints money, right? They are the dominant PC storefront. So it's like, what are they all doing? Like, how could they have made a game this big in so much secrecy, right? It's crazy. But the thing is that Valve could do that, right? Valve had like thousands of people playing their multiplayer game that isn't even out yet, and they're saying it's one of the best, third-person hero shooters they've ever played. The game isn't even out yet, and it still hasn't been officially announced. Right? It's called was it called Dreadnought? A Death Drop or something? I can't remember.
Oh, from Valve?
Yeah,
Yeah, there was another. Yeah, that was the one that one a well-known reporter ended up in hot water over NDA stuff on that one. I remember.
yeah. But and by the way, I don't know why people are breaking NDAs all the time. All of a sudden,
I
like,
mean, it's not that hard. I've done NDAs too, and I honored them. Like, it's just I mean, maybe it's a thing where people choose clout over honor and integrity at the end of the day. I guess that's it. But it's like if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it as long as it's, physically or within my control to do so. So, yeah.
yeah. I mean, like when you do betas and game tests and stuff, you sign NDAs. Like when I do reviews, I can't talk like reviews in the podcast. Just say I can't post about them in any capacity until the embargo, right? Until the embargo. So like you have these outlets, right? They'll leak stuff early and they'll break an embargo and they'll say, "Oh, we accidentally posted it early." It's like, no, you didn't. No, you
It's
didn't.
like, yeah, okay, buddy. Yeah.
Yeah, like all the like if it's YouTube, it has a timer, right? There's a timer when you can have these things automatically go up, right? It's not hard to tell what time it is and what date things are set. A lot of these people, I'm calling them out, they all lying, right? Um, but the fact that Half-Life 3 is being kept secret for so long, and like it feels like a fever dream to talk about it because it feels like such a made up game, right? Because Half-Life, it's Schrodinger's Half-Life 3, right? It exists and it doesn't exist at the same time, right? So like I guess we'll find out next week. But then again, isn't Valve technically bigger than the Game Awards? So like,
Yes.
would they be just announcing it there because there's literally millions of people watching, or do they just do it like knowing Valve? They could just shadow drop it when the Steam machine launches, right? They could do that. But I guess we'll see. And while we're talking about Steam, we all know that Microsoft plans to support multiple storefronts on their next gen console, codenamed Xbox Magnus. And they haven't been secret about this. They've been pretty open about the multiple storefront thing for like 2 years now, to the point where I literally want Microsoft to stop talking about it. But like having access to multiple storefronts, that's a cool thing. I have 300 games on Epic, right? I have a couple on GOG and a couple on Steam. But like if you're going to be able to play your games across the board on your new console, that's cool, right? Yeah, we could talk another time about like, what about like the money share and all this stuff, and like what does Microsoft get out of it? What does Steam get out of it? Like the fact that on the consumer level, you're going to have access to all your stuff is great. And there's also games that don't come to console. I always talk about this game called Homeworld Remastered Collection, right? That game will never come to console because it's an RTS which requires a keyboard and mouse, right? You can't play it any other way. So, like, I will be... Okay, for some reason I can hear the Netflix tune. Um, okay, don't know what the hell that was. Scared the living hell out of me. But, when it comes to being able to play games like that on a console, like, yeah, you will have to plug in a keyboard and mouse, but you're going to be able to play basically any game that's of one of these thousands, which is really cool. Well, the reason I'm bringing this up is because all the Half-Life stuff, right? So you're going to have Half-Life, which will come out on Steam, I'm guessing exclusively. I'm guessing it won't get a console release for a long time, because, we used to get console releases of Valve games, right? We had Portal 1, Portal 2, the Orange Box, Half-Life 2
Left 4
Bites.
Dead 1 and 2,
Yeah,
Counter Strike.
yeah, Left 4 Dead 1 and 2, Counter-Strike. Like, so to say that Valve won't do console versions of games, I still think they will. It's in their best interest too, as well, because they are bigger than their own storefront essentially when it comes to their games. Like, look, I'm one of the people that wants a Portal 3 more than Half-Life 3. You know
Oh,
what?
I want a Portal 3, but that's
Yeah,
high.
yeah, I'm taking that back, right? Yeah, that's a bit much. But I really want a Portal 3. I really want that. Um, and by the way, for people who haven't played Portal 2, please do so. It's incredible. It essentially has two.
Solo or co-op.
Yeah,
It's
it
awesome
essentially has
both.
two story modes. You have the single player and the co-op campaign.
Hmm.
Both really great. But yeah, like I think having Steam on Xbox, you're gonna be playing Half-Life 3 regardless, whenever it comes out. But like, and the thing is that the multiple storefront thing, that doesn't actually affect most people, right? If you're a console gamer, you're going to be buying your Xbox games on the Xbox store and not even thinking about it. But this is just for people that support, multiple storefronts. Like, if you have the ROG Xbox Ally, there's a chance that you are buying games off GOG, Epic, Steam, because you can. So if you're gonna have access to those games on your fancy new like home console, that's cool. And I can't really complain about it. And there were some rumors today that PlayStation is going to do something similar. I've seen some back and forth between people like saying it'll never happen, it won't happen, or whatever. I think the only reason why Sony wouldn't do it is because they seem to be more constrictive when it comes to their storefront policies. Like getting refunds and stuff. It's not the same as Xbox. The way crossplay and cross progression worked on Xbox, they were doing that. Basically, they were okay with doing it. In Sony, it took a while for them to get on board with the thing. Thankfully, now they do crossplay across the board on everything. So, like, do I think Sony could do the Steam thing as well? Yeah, but will their games be on PC day and date at the same time? Maybe. We just don't know. But then again, they have Nixus, a whole studio that's dedicated to porting PC games. So I think the future's weird for gaming. It's not like what it was 10 years ago where the gaming industry was kind of predictable. This console released here, this game released there. That was it. Now, we're all talking about ecosystems and storefronts and stuff. But yeah, I'd be shocked if like next gen comes around and you don't have access to Steam, Epic, and GOG. By the way, isn't it kind of sad? It's not sad that I'm actually looking forward to having GOG on my Xbox more than Steam.
Hey, no, man, I'm in the same boat. Like, I have built up like a crazy library already, and I'm a recent quote convertee to GOG and its greatness. Like, shout out to them and their preservation program. Like, I think them and the BC team at Xbox and Night Dive are like the three great custodians out there right now, along with uh Digital Eclipse does a great job as well. Like those guys, like chef's kiss. They're doing such great work being able to play all these games I missed out on when I was younger or that for whatever reason just never came to PC or games that Xbox technically owns but for whatever reason they're not backwards compatible, yet I could get it on GOG or I can get it on Steam, and play them and then have them on a future Xbox console device just from a different storefront, like sign me up. That's awesome. Like at the end of the day, I just want to play the games I want to play, you
Yeah.
know.
I mean, look, the funny thing is, I will do this at some point in the future. Yeah, oh yeah, GOG is owned by CD Projekt Red. I always forget that. That's such a random
Hmm.
thing as well. Like,
Yeah,
I
they have
know
a
that
ton
is
of
a
Witcher stuff on
yeah, I know
sale
that's a
all the
thing,
time.
but that's just cool. Like CD Projekt Red, they used to get a lot of love, and then Cyberpunk came out, and then it basically tanked them as a company, not in like stock or value, but like mind share and goodwill. And their game preservation stuff on GOG, people love that stuff. They have the way they update games now, the way they've done the way they fixed Cyberpunk, I never played Cyberpunk when it was in a bad state, so I can't really speak to what it was like. But man, like they are one of the best companies. I will glaze them a bit. CD Projekt Red are the goats. But like when it comes to the gameplay preservation stuff or game preservation, like GOG, like to me, at some point in the future when the next Xbox comes out, I'm going to post clips of me playing, 20-year-old Star Trek games, right? And I'll probably get a lot of hate for it because people get angry over everything. But like, I can't wait to buy a brand new shiny console to play a 20-year-old Star Trek game.
It's a peaceful life.
Yeah, it's a peaceful life. I love it.
I'm excited.
I do dabble in like Arc Raiders because I'm stupid, but I like my single player stuff and just all the games. And bit of a tangent. You think Star Wars fans have it bad when it comes to getting new Star Wars games regularly? Star Trek, my God. If you're a Star Trek fan and you like video games, I feel so sorry for you because I feel sorry for myself. We have nothing. Nothing. We have Star Trek Resurgence, which came out 2 years ago. Nothing since.
That's a Telltale style one, right?
Yeah, it's a good game. Don't get me wrong, but like that's one game, right? Like, and that's it. And we do have another game that's set during the Star Trek Prodigy show, but that game is blatantly made for 4-year-olds.
Oh yeah, that one got delisted, and I thought about buying it, and then I looked at it. I'm like, this looks like Nick for kids.
Yep.
But Star Trek. So I was like, maybe not.
Yeah, I think it was called Star Trek Prodigy Supernova. I bought it. I probably won't be going back to it. It's bad. It's literally it's a game for 4-year-olds. Walk from point A to point B, press A to bash enemies. It's bad. And they have that thing, and by the way, this is a bit of a tangent. I hate how some games, they don't have cutscenes, they just have flashcards of comics.
Mm-hmm.
Just a still image, and there's just text on the screen. It's like, okay, I get it, right? You're a budget game, and you're a licensed budget game of a Nickelodeon or / Netflix CGI show for kids. But my God in heaven, if you're a Star Trek fan and you like gaming, we have nothing. Zip. We have Star Trek Online, but even that's difficult for play. That's difficult to play. The controls for that game are awful. My God, if one more person tells me Star Wars: The Old Republic can't come to console because it's a controller game, or it would need a controller, play Star Trek Online. Look at that user interface. You'll have nightmares. It has the worst user interface I've ever seen in any game ever. But again, I'm a Star Trek fan, and in the video game space, we have nothing. Nothing. But hopefully that'll change. But anyway, Logan, I know I've been talking about the Steam and GOG thing for a bit. Like, do you think PlayStation will do the same thing?
I think just like many other things, PlayStation will eventually do it. It's just going to be on a later time frame than Xbox did. Xbox has been too early out the gate for a bunch of stuff, and PlayStation has been fashionably late out of the gate for a bunch of stuff. And I think that trend is just going to continue. Eventually, I think we're just going to be at a point where the difference between a PC, a console, a handheld, all this is going to be negligible. It's going to be, just about forms and formats and like accessibility, interfaces, like what you want to experience and how you want to experience it rather than my brand is blue and your brand is red and your brand is green and rah rah rah. Like I think that era has kind of closed the door, or it's like barely cracked open at this point.
Yeah. All right, we'll see what happens. I think the future of the industry is kind of weird. I kind of like the fact it's weird at the minute because it's been predictable for so long.
It's interesting. Yeah.
It's actually interesting for a change. Like, yeah, people don't like seeing these different logos on different consoles, but at the end of the day, the gaming industry's been so predictable for so long. Like, something different. I'll take anything. But then again, I just want my favorite franchises to stay the same. So, like, maybe I'm a hypocrite. I don't know. But anyway, everyone in chat has been amazing once again. Sorry for the week break, but we'll be back next week, same time as usual. And yeah, our links to our Twitters in the description down below. So you can follow us there. The link to my last video is in the description down below, which is the 20 biggest new games coming to Xbox Series X and S in November and December. Hope people enjoy that, because December is shockingly packed with big video games, and more surprising than anything, more horror games. December is big for horror, especially routine. I think people like that stuff. But yeah, we're back.
Dude.
Sorry, what were
Oh,
you saying?
sorry. You just spawned a thought in my head.
Yeah, yeah.
How awesome would a Black Xmas game be? Like, speaking of horror, I was thinking, you said there's so many horror games coming out this December. I was like, that's a movie. It's kind of a niche horror film, but it's set during Christmas and holiday themed and everything. How cool would something like that be as a game?
I think something like that could work. I think that, thinking about it, we don't really have Christmas horror games. Like, we have Dead Rising 3, but is Dead Rising 3 or 4?
I think it's 4 that's set in the mall.
Yeah.
And it's like all holiday and like Christmas lights.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah.
But like outside of that, like I can't think of any Christmas themed horror games. But hey, I mean, someone will have to come out with something at some point. Maybe it's some like there have been rumors. I haven't really looked at this. There have been rumors that there's going to be a Terrifier game, which
Man, them getting that rated will be
yeah,
a challenge.
yeah. I don't know how you'd. Okay, so it was what do you call it? Dead Rising 4. Yeah, I mean, a Terrifier game. Good luck getting that rated, especially in like Australia or Germany. Oof. But yeah, that would be cool. But yeah, like I was saying, the link to my last video is in the description down below. So is our Twitters. We'll be back for a new episode of All Things Xbox Podcast, same time next Tuesday. If my plan works, I should have a new video coming out by the end of the week. Anyway, I hope everyone has a good day. We're out, everybody. Peace.